Alrighty, Cosmic Fam, quick note before we dive in. This is not my usual short and spicy reel. We're going deep, cross-cultural, a little historical, and a little quantum nerdy. If you've had a near-death experience or have ever questioned what happens after death or why consciousness seems like it keeps looping, then you might dig this perspective. If not, save yourself however many minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, and just come back for the next one. This one is for the seekers. See you on the other side. Court is now in session. Case Humanity versus the Archons. The charges: soul entrapment, energy vampirism, and cosmic oppression. The defense, me, calls this a gross misinterpretation of celestial law. Because my clients, they aren't predators. They're architects and regulators of the gravity that keeps your divinity from floating off before it's ready. Let me tell you something about structure. The same walls you cuss as prison bars are the same ones that keep your consciousness from dissolving into chaos. Without the Archon's framework, without form, and without sequence, there is no time, no place, no lessons, and no individuality. They built a pressure chamber that turns carbon into consciousness. Consider the ancient myth in the Apocryphon of John. The creator powers known as the Archons are not merely jailers, but as formers of realms. And they shape the very material scaffolding that through which the soul can awaken. And yet many of you today feel trapped, looping through illusions designed to keep you asleep. But the Archons are not the jailers. They're the mirror showing you who did build those walls. Because yes, there are powers that profit off of your amnesia, the social architect, the systems that feed off your distractions. But the lock on the door was built from within, by fear and by guilt and by the need to belong. So what inspired this line of defense that I'm taking are the near-death experience testimonies I have read, mostly to compare with my own. So people saw the light, they felt the peace, and they were sent back. It's not time yet, they were told. They came back, calling the gatekeepers jailers. Our flaw is merely a misinterpretation. So what if the return to the body was not punishment? What if it was placement? What if the Archons aren't denying your freedom, but protecting your curriculum from being cut short? So don't look at the Archons and scream tyranny. Look at yourself and ask, was I done learning when I was sent back? And if you're fooling yourself, you will say yes, but no, you were not done learning when you were sent back. Because your soul, before it was born, before your body was born, your soul signed a syllabus or a contract. You chose a body, a family, a cosmic test site, and you asked for contrast. You wanted to taste failure so you could recognize success. Because the universe isn't a prison. It's a process, and the Archons aren't your captors, they are the providers and the checkers of your coursework. Every soul that incarnates signs up for a syllabus, not a sentence. Rebirth is not recycling, it's revision. Each lifetime adds a paragraph to the essay that is your consciousness until the writing is clear enough to stand on its own. The Archons, they're your cosmic editors. They review the draft, they circle the lessons that you missed, and they send you back with a note in the margin saying, this time, remember what you forgot. They're not villains. They are the compliance officers of cosmic law. Consider how the different traditions frame this. In Gnostic myth we read, and so he breathed into him his spirit. It is the power of the mother into the body, and it is moved at once. In this way, the pneumatic seed finds its way to the psychic atom, and thus no longer is subject exclusively to the control of the powers of darkness. So, see, sovereignty isn't lost, it's just awakened. In Tibetan Bardo teachings, the orientation is similar. This radiant awareness has never been born and will never die. Though it has roamed throughout psychic existence, it does not degenerate. Though it is present in everyone, it is unrecognizable. It's not about being released from the system, it's about aligning with the ever-present awareness within the system. The consciousness passes through the intermediate state for up to 49 days, guided by instructions, which is a clear model of returning after curriculum. Even modern quantum metaphors apply. Every action generates a feedback in the field. The universe corrects its own math. There's no cheat code, only coherent resonance. Across time and culture, the pattern is identical. Structure, assessment, return, unless completion. So when the soul is told it's not time yet, that isn't cruelty, that is coherence. Your frequency hasn't attuned itself to the source or to the Christ consciousness, Atman, Brahman, Paramatma, Tao, Wu Chi, Ein Sof, Ra, Nus, Dharmakaya, the Great Spirit, the 0 point field. There's no guarantee I pronounced all those correct, but you get the point. And so the Archons, the so-called gatekeepers, are the ones asking, are you ready to move up this time, or do you still need this simulation? Well, let's get one thing clear. Enlightenment is not about escaping the classroom, but mastering the subject. The light you see in near-death experiences is not the exit sign. It is the projector reflecting your own readiness. And if you return, it's not rejection. It's just one more cosmic semester to refine your resonance. Because the source doesn't fail you, it just refuses to graduate you unprepared. You saw the light, you felt the peace, you felt the weightlessness, and then someone or something said it's not your time yet. You woke back in your body, gasping, angry, heartbroken, like you were just maliciously kicked out of paradise. Across thousands of documented near-death experiences, that same line repeats like a cosmic refrain. It's not your time yet isn't a failure. It means you haven't finished the curriculum. The paper's not graded yet. You don't get expelled from eternity, you just get extended time to finish the assignment. The Archons are accused of dragging souls back to Earth. But what if they were actually, in fact, guardians of equilibrium? The cosmic border control, making sure that consciousness doesn't cross over the veil half-built. In Egypt, the soul faced Ma'at, scales, not for punishment but for balance. In Greece, even heroes drank from the Lethe, the river of forgetfulness, before they're sent back. In the Book of the Dead, it warns that the light beyond light may blind the unprepared. And in modern quantum physics, time itself folds back to ensure coherence. The same lesson is just a different language. Carl Jung once wrote, our psyche is set up in accord with the structure of the universe, and what happens in the macrocosm likewise happens in the infinitesimal and most subjective reaches of the psyche. Think about that. The structure that holds galaxies together is mirrored in your consciousness. If the universe has architecture, so does awakening. The soul isn't being confined, it's by the Archons, it's being calibrated by them. Your soul asks to remember through forgetting, asks to grow through gravity, and to find freedom by walking into form. So when somebody says, they sent me back, I hear they trusted me to finish. The return is not a punishment. It's just permission to continue. Humanity's always had a flair for rebellion. It's in our DNA. The same spark that pushes apes towards fire is what leads poets to stars. But somewhere along the way, we began to mistake structure for tyranny and feedback as punishment, or worse, an insult. The same forces that kept us alive we've accused of dragging us down. And that's where the great misunderstanding begins. So the Archons, again, are not jailers. They're just the cosmic editors making sure that your story reads true before it's published into eternity. Every time I hear someone say our cosmic system is a prison, I can't help but think there are no walls here keeping you trapped. It's just your own refusal to see what real walls are really made of. Look at the myths. Prometheus was thinking that he was liberating humanity from divine control. Turns out the fire that he stole was the discipline of creation, which is a spark that burns itself out if you disrespect its laws. Lucifer wanted knowledge without humility, and Icarus wanted the sky without patience. Every rebellion begins in truth and ends in imbalance. And that imbalance is what the Archons correct. They're the stabilizing frequency and the unseen math in your miracles. Gnostics describe them as forces between spirit and matter. But even the quantum physics has an echo in it here. Observation collapses a wave, meaning that form can't exist without structure, without attention, without something to measure it. And that something is the archonic principle awareness structured into form. So in the end, it's not judgment that awaits us, it's recognition. The moment the veil lifts, you don't meet gods or jailers. You meet your own reflection, multiplied back through every moment in every lifetime. And the Archons aren't there to stop you. They're there to ask you the one question that echoes throughout the cosmos. Do you understand what you have built? Because ascension is not a staircase that you climb, but it's a circuit that you complete. You rise when you remember that even light has laws. So thank the gatekeepers even as you outgrow them. Bow not in submission, but in comprehension. Then cross the threshold, mind unclouded, spirit awake. To create new worlds, not to abandon this one, but to heal it from within.